Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I am Dale, I go by DayleSong here on the channel, and I'm here with my best friend, Dr. Disney.
Hi!
You must check out his channel because he is superb with his reactions to films and his song covers of Disney songs and...
I'm pretty sure my channel's also become just the two of us. So,
well, yeah, I'm on it a lot, but it is his channel.
and now we're on your channel because today we're going to be doing...
What we're going to be talking about, I want to have a conversation about this all-female cast of 1776. Oh, yes. I thought you were presenting me. I'm not in the cast.
Why is it so important to you?
It's important because it's one of my favorite musicals. If not, sometimes I don't have a lot of favorites. This kind of challenges that. This is one of my favorite musicals of all time. I just love the whole history, the story we are told of the birth of this nation. And I just love the characters and the colorfulness. And in particular for the musical, I love the inventiveness of Sherman Edwards, who wrote, I think he wrote the book too, but he certainly wrote the music and the lyrics, and put life into the forefathers of this country. Now,
The forefathers.
Exactly. We are being challenged with this new production.
All-female cast.
An all-female cast. It is being billed as an all-female cast. It is also being announced as a female, non-binary, and trans cast. I think it's important to mention that. And I just wonder why they chose to do this. Is this just because Hamilton came out with...
The success of Hamilton, specifically.
Yeah, it seems like it's riding on the success of Hamilton, that it's not really an original idea. That, now we can take the other Birth of a Nation musical that came in 1969, and now we can make this into alternative casting. So I thought, okay, we're trying to be all-inclusive. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is this really the way to do it? I don't know. There's the traditionalist way of looking at this.
The purist way.
Purist is a good word for it. And there's also the way of saying, yeah, let's include everybody. Let's everybody get a chance to be cast in something, because this particular musical has, I think it's 26 characters, or is it 26 male characters and 2 female characters written into it.
When Dale had brought this up to me, he was saying how this is his favorite musical, and he's curious why they're doing an all-female cast, and does it work the same way that Hamilton did? And he said he wanted to have a discussion with the internet, and I was like, cool, let's do it. And turns out there's a trailer that they released for the 1776 musical all-female cast.
Which we've not seen yet.
We've not seen it. I actually have never seen the musical. When you first became my vocal coach, you highly recommended the whole album, so I listened to the whole thing, so I understand the story musically. And I like it too. The song Mama...
Look Sharp.
Look Sharp. Oh, that song breaks
me. It's a tearjerker.
Yeah.
And
I was running around the track, and I'm just like... Mama.
Oh, it's a tearjerker. That moment in the movie too is so poignant.
Yeah.
And I have no doubt that the performers are going to be phenomenal.
Yeah.
And
just look at this spear woman, the spearhead.
Yes.
Just Titanic.
And we're going to be going to see it on Wednesday the 21st.
We're going to see it?
We're going to see it. Yes, Dr. Disney, we're going to see it.
I'm excited.
I'm very excited. Very, very excited to see this live on stage and in this historic particular casting that they're doing. Let's watch the trailer, and then let's talk a little bit about what we see and the whole concept.
And I have a bunch of questions for you, so I'm going to act like the mouthpiece of the jury, and we'll see how...
And I'm on trial?
No, you're not on trial. But it is 1776, so it would be on brand. Ready? 3... Or let's start from 1776.
Okay.
1776, 1775,
1774, go.
I don't know. 3, 2, 1.
We were blown away. It was everything I wanted it to be, and then some.
It It was mesmerizing.
Her outfit
It was
interesting.
amazing.
The lighting, the music, the set, just a fantastic show.
The talent I was on stage was absolutely phenomenal.
It's a thought-provoking,
Great
very
voice.
emotional, and very powerful show.
It's so refreshing. The performances were absolutely stunning.
Oh, that would be.
It's an amazing story with an amazing diverse cast who need to be seen.
That particular casting brings a whole different layer of meaning and power.
They told the story in a way that felt so relevant.
All the gloom, all the gloom, I can see the rays of rise.
I bet you they're going to take opportunities in the book to make jabs at current references.
Modern, beautiful, and thought-provoking explanation of how America was created.
It was a truly excellent show. I would definitely see it again. I would definitely recommend it.
Ooh. That's cool!
The staging is dynamic, absolutely. That's what I expect.
That's cool. I
Nice.
vibes.
I don't know. I don't know.
All right, here we go.
I don't know.
Here's the conversation. Can I ask a singular question that I think will help
direct
the
this?
conversation?
Sure.
So, we've seen Hamilton, and people have thoughts about Hamilton. The Little Mermaid, with Halle Bailey's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
We are in full support of her as Ariel.
Absolutely.
I want to know how those two can work for you. Maybe because we've already seen them, but even before we saw Halle Bailey, you were with it. So how is it that we can see those two projects and we're on board? And when 1776, there's a piece of it that doesn't click for you yet. You're just like, I don't know if this is going to work. Well, or not necessarily. Your thing was, what is the purpose of this?
Yeah,
what's the philosophy behind it?
It's going to work. I know it's going to work.
Okay.
What, like they said in the trailer, this is thought-provoking. Why? What is thought-provoking? How does taking an old show provoke thoughts just because you change the casting? It sounds like they actually changed a lot of the orchestration, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, they made it more modern, so that I'm also not a huge fan of. I'm not saying I'm not a fan of the casting. I just don't understand why do it with an old show. Why not write a new show that brings out more of the Hamilton that you want to do? I can't divorce them. This is happening because Hamilton broke a mold. Wonderful.
But it's also about bringing voices into the picture that typically or traditionally weren't allowed. I think that's a big part. It's not that the women didn't partake in history. It's that they either weren't allowed, or when they forced themselves in, they were silenced or removed or eliminated from the story. So how is it not powerful that the women are then... My take on it, based on just seeing the trailer, is that they probably are making a bunch of jabs in the script. Like, oh, my wife's at home cooking meals, and then that's the line, let's say, that's written into the book. She'll say...
Which it's not.
It's not, but she'll say, my wife's at home cooking meals, and then they'll look at the audience like that, so then you can hear how silly the script was.
But to me, that is...
history.
No, that's not history. That's an added layer onto something that has a whole different reason to exist. Why add a layer onto it? Why mug the audience like you were just doing to say a line? Because back in 1776, they do make a point through Abigail Adams that the wives are supporting this whole effort to become a nation, and because this was groundbreaking, of course, to forge a new nation among just a small group of people against a big, powerful empire like Great Britain. That's the story being told, even if it's kind of fictitious in the way we are told our history. And I understand women are excluded a lot in the formation of the country. Is that exactly what's being said here because they're still being the forefathers' characters.
Versus making a whole new musical about the hidden history
Yeah.
of the women who were sort of... There's a great line in My Big Fat Greek Wedding that says the man may be the head, but the woman is the neck and can turn him wherever she wants.
Ooh.
So that would be a cool concept for a new musical, like the Eliza Hamiltons who were working in the shadows to make this happen.
We get that with Hamilton. That's a major point, if not kind of an equal point of Hamilton. And it's also, they also make a point here. In 1969 even, the idea of bringing the four mothers into the story was slightly radical or slightly unusual because you're talking about the forefathers. And back then, you would see the forefathers to be revered as demigods themselves, right? And actually, the point of this in 1969 was to break down that concept as well, because when you get these characters in this story, they're being real people. Some of them are drunk, some of them are prejudiced, some of them are...
Some of them.
Well, I mean, but those are some of the points of the musical. So the musical has a lot to do with talking about slavery at the time that affected the agreement, whether all the territories would come together, the colonies. And so there are a lot of other things going on. To add a layer of, well, we have to include the foremothers, they do include the foremothers in part of the story. The focus was otherwise.
So it sounds like you're not against them making a female cast. You are just wondering if there's going to be a purpose to it. Like, if it's not just going to be saying the same lines that the men were saying and just being the forefathers. If they can add an element of commentary about being...
Are they going to change the script? Why? And how much? How could they change the script that they're going to make a point? What does it make a point just to have a different casting?
So what's the solution, you would say?
My problem is that I don't think this show will bear forth what they are trying to purport. Knowing the show, I don't think there is enough room in it to really say the Hamilton message. Hamilton, it was a new work, created to break apart.
That's true. Hamilton was designed with this element in mind.
Yeah.
This is sort of going back.
And Little Mermaid, just to mention that, you said earlier, there's no reason why Halle Berry should not be the Little Mermaid.
Bailey.
Sorry, my fault. Halle Bailey should not be playing Ariel. People who are against that, I'm sorry, are prejudiced. Bar none.
Yeah. Speaking as Dr. Disney, the reason why Halle Bailey's working is because even the original story was set with Caribbean music and all these Caribbean influences, and people, even if they want to argue about where Ariel was swimming under, like which territory she was swimming under, you can have mermaids of different skin colors. It's not even races. It's just, like, why not have... It's
mermaids are not real to begin with.
Exactly.
However, and you can, and some people are saying, oh well, it's a Hans Christian Andersen story, so this is a Danish thing. No, it doesn't matter. It was already transplanted to somewhere else. If there's a somewhere else in the original story, it's just to be fun, and anybody can be.
So why can't this one just be fun?
Well, the musical is fun.
No, but
and
the
poignant.
female cast.
And I'm sure, like I said, performances. I look forward to them. They're going to be wonderful. Absolutely. Conceptually, I am having trouble with this. Now, in opera, a lot of productions will take... Well, there was a recent production of La Traviata, which is one of the most famous operas by Verdi, and it's a particular story that you need to understand the mores of the time. You have to understand that the woman was constrained in such a way that it would cause her demise to have been a high-level prostitute and all this stuff. And consumption and all this was huge. Now, a recent production set the party scene in Las Vegas and other odd things like that. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. They're just trying to do something different, especially when they do this with opera. And I'm not a traditionalist either. Take away everything and just sing in black and white. I don't care. The concepts get in the way for a lot of people. That particular production, it got in the way for me. I don't want it to get in the way here. I want to celebrate women being seen and cast and there being much more opportunity. I want to see a show that is 26 characters of women and 2 men. Not this one. So I'm on the side of this maybe shouldn't have been done this way. Not that a production's a production. Fine. Conceptually, let's just go theoretically. What is it trying to say? I've tried to see what the creators were saying, and I really don't even get what they're saying here. Jeffrey L. Page and Diane Paulus. Diane Paulus directed Waitress, and Jeffrey L. Page also is the choreographer for this. And these are the only quotes they have. Jeffrey and I are fascinated by the idea, this is Paulus speaking, that history isn't the clear or linear story we read in our textbooks, but instead a predicament that we must grapple with in order to understand our past so that we can move forward together. Very general. And then Page says, as I've worked with Diane, we've explored the unsaid, unspoken, and unwritten history, and as a result, I have found myself inside of the important piece of art, inside of American history, and I have learned something new about both.
Yeah.
What have you learned? What are we going to learn?
Yeah.
It
It doesn't really comment on the fact that it's an all-female cast. It's more so hinting that the show is really good.
And what is unspoken? What is unspoken about the history? There's a lot to be said.
Which is why I think it's really important that we're doing this before we go to see it, because we're sort of asking questions. Like, if they can make that element work, then we'll be flabbergasted. And we are going to come after we watch it.
We're going to come back.
And we're going to share our thoughts. We just wanted to hear what people's thoughts were online before we go to see it, because it's not apparent what the
it's not apparent
purpose
anything
or the philosophy of the project is.
Yeah, and what the philosophy of the project is. And everything I read about it doesn't address the issue.
Even in the trailer here, they're like, it's so powerful to go back in history. And I'm like, but it sounds like that's the show.
That's the show.
It's like it's an awesome show. I've not seen it. It sounds like it's an awesome show with an element of just an all-female cast, rather than it has a purpose for being an all-female cast. Aside from, we are just putting women in places of... The good thing about it, though, is that I wanted to say, this is the note, and maybe we'll end on this one, is I just am really excited by this, because that means there's a future of Six the Musical as an all-male cast. And I can be singing those really high notes!
We'll talk about that in the lesson. Anyway, please comment below. Bring it on. Talk about this. Please talk about this with some smarts. Don't just throw comments about being prejudiced or misogynistic or anything like that. No, that's not where we're coming from. That's not what we want to be discussing. We want to talk about what this can do. What do you think this is going to do?
Conceptually, what is this accomplishing?
Yeah, because I know part of my bias is that it's one of my favorite shows. So, you know, My Fair Lady is much more well-known, a much more beloved show. Now, if you had Dwayne Johnson playing Eliza Doolittle, is because it's completely non-traditional casting, how is that going to work? Really?
And I have a question. What if in the future, again, just conceptually, right now we're in a hypothetical playground, so we can say, we can question things. Is there a future, a potential future, where Hamilton can be reverse played by an all-white cast?
Oof.
Right? Like, at what point is it too much, is I think what we're asking here.
Yeah, and I don't think this is too much. I just don't get why.
But we're excited to see it, and we are going to go support it.
Yeah, it's historical, and...
it's historical! That's all, folks!
Yeah, Broadway history, speaking of American history, or what passes for American history
True.
from our textbooks. Yeah. Anyway, it's a beloved musical for me, and I look forward to seeing the performances. Let's talk.
Yeah.
We'll be back.
Yeah. We'll be back. Soon you'll see.
That's why I have it here.
You belong to me. You'll be back. That's how we'll end
Time will tell.
Okay, that's how we'll end it.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Good health to you and yours. Stay safe during this time, and keep music in your hearts.
And the arts.
And the arts.
And as always, be safe, be strong, be swags. God bless you, and we'll see you right after we watch this Broadway show in the next video. Take care. Bye. Boop.
We say this game.